And I've been casting in this space since 2008. And why this is such a unique casting. It is different than any other casting out there, and it's different than any other host casting out there. A lot of people will, I mean, the world is always changing, the audience is changing, what people are interested in is changing. So we're looking for all different types. But what I was getting at was the idea of I think we are in a very interesting space when it comes into casting across the board, whether it's home shopping or casting hosts, lifestyle game show, whatever it might be, not in the shopping space, because those gigs or those jobs that come into my world are also the same. Like the home shopping space is so unique because it's sales meets entertainment. There has to be results at the end of the day. You are a host, but you are also selling. The idea of like being able to like share your life is, see, these are things that like you wouldn't think.
Welcome to Lights, Camera, Cash, the podcast where creativity meets cash flow. I'm your host, Nicole Sellers, and I'm here to help you unleash the superstar within and turn your creativity and charisma into a money-making machine. Today, I'm sitting down with Sean DeSimone, a leading casting director who has spent more than a decade casting the on-air talent you see every day on QVC and HSN. Sean has discovered and developed countless hosts and guest experts and knows exactly what makes someone stand out on live television. His experience goes well beyond shopping television. Sean has cast for major networks, including ABC, NBC, CBS, and more, as well as a wide range of digital and streaming projects across beauty, home, fashion, cooking, and lifestyle. Sean has watched hundreds of personalities rise and understands what makes a host instantly engaging, credible, and castable. Today, he's giving us a clear inside look at what QVC and HSN are looking for, how auditions really work, and where the biggest opportunities are as these networks expand into streaming and live social shopping. So if you're a TV host, on-camera expert, or guest expert who wants to elevate your career, this conversation is going to give you clarity, direction, and next steps. So let's dive in. Hello, Sean. Welcome.
Hi, Nicole. Thank you so much. What a fabulous intro. It's like,
It doesn't do you justice, Sean. I actually cut about half the networks out that you've cast for.
I'm like,
So
who did all that stuff?
I know. You know what? You have had a very long and successful career, which is why I love sitting down with you today. And a lot of our listeners are TV hosts. They are experts. They're trying to get to the top level, which is the QVC HSN status. So when you are looking at auditions, whether it's live in person or self-tapes, what is the first thing that you look for?
Authenticity. If they're not coming across in a realistic way, I can tell, the client can tell, and then ultimately the customer can tell. So it has to start with the tape and it has to stay consistent throughout. Because a lot of times I will get a tape from somebody, but by the time I bring them in for the audition, there's a little bit of a disconnect. And then I started to realize, like, oh, it's because when they made the tape, they weren't truly themselves. So when they came into the room, it didn't match, which
You
then
could read it.
also then continues to second callback and then perhaps getting the job and then actually going on air. So it's the idea of like starting in a sort of an authentic space and staying there throughout. We all
So authenticity though, we talk about all the time, and it's like, how do you peg what that is? And for me anyway, it's like seeing that they're confident in their own skin, they know who they are, they're comfortable, talking about a variety of products, but just based on their own passions and expertise. For authenticity for you though, is it more of a confidence thing, or is it more of just kind of like knowing who you are? How do you peg that?
it's the idea that a lot of people will imitate the role of a host and what they think you want to see. It's what I think I'm sort of kind of driving home versus the idea of just coming in and being yourself, because we're not casting actors here.
Right.
And a lot of these people do come from a space where they have acting experience. We are in the world where we are kind of seeing people from all different spaces, whether like they've never been on TV before or they have been on TV before, or they're entertainers. So they come into the room with all of these sort of expectations of what they think we're looking for, and we're not looking for anything particular until we see it, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if for me it's like being authentic means like just truly being yourself versus playing a role. Because I think people watch so much of these networks and they see, and then they want to come in and they want to give you that same exact thing, which is, I mean, and you know too as well from your casting experiences, we're not looking for what we already have, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's so perfectly said. It's like you have people that are trying to be someone else or perform in the sense of like, hey, well, this host is really successful. I'll just kind of do what they're doing and see how it flies. But really, you're looking for the best version of themselves, really that elevated, yeah.
Yeah, well, because if you try to be what the other successful host is, then that's not going to work long term because you can't keep up with it. But also, that successful host is also successful for so many other different reasons that you can think that you might be able to replicate.
Right, right. And for those people who dream about one day working for QVC, what is the kind of differentiator between those who get booked and those who are kind of passed over? Besides authenticity, are there any
Well,
sort of special skills that you're looking for as opposed to just being not so much polished, but maybe it's someone who is really good at storytelling? Is there something that kind of separates the ones that get booked?
well, I would definitely start with the idea of being booked. That's not what it is. And a lot of people come into these auditions or submitting themselves seeing it as a gig. And I will tell you, that is probably one of the biggest things that sort of helps me sort of, you know, edit out and narrow down the field, right? I wouldn't even say edit out, but like narrow down the field. Like I can start to realize, oh, this person sees this as a gig because a lot of these entertainers and hosts and whatever they may be come from the gig world. So and the other reason why I'm latching on to when you had mentioned booked is because it is a thing that I think will sort of help me narrow things down because this is a lifestyle. When you take these jobs, you are encompasses the role versus coming in doing the job for a short period of time. And the only reason why I'm driving it home is because I have seen people who think that it's a gig, and that is because you had asked, you know, what am I looking for that sort of helps me, you know, edit out, right? Or what makes people different, and somebody who
Mm-hmm.
doesn't realize the capacity of the job.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where like the full-time employment versus the booking mindset is a big thing. So that's
Right.
one. The ability to tell story is another. Uh, the passion for the role is extremely
Mm-hmm.
important because we're looking for people who are looking to, you know, dig in, build careers there, stay for a really long time. So that's why I keep, again, that brings us back to the idea of like, and I wasn't trying to like correct you, but like, I was like, oh, when you said the word book, I was like, oh my God, that's actually something we could talk about.
Yeah. And it's a mindset shift. And my mind automatically goes to like Ashley Heron Smith. Like she went for one role, she got another, she's expanding her career with QVC Plus. It's just, you know, an expansive career that started with maybe one audition.
Yeah.
So that's something that is really remarkable in that space, that one, let's say, gig or job really leads to other opportunities within that space.
Well,
Have you
that's
seen that a
another.
lot?
Yeah, well, that's something else we could talk about. Something else that makes somebody special is the ability to be flexible.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
having stamina, understanding that you might audition numerous times, various years, and it might not be right at this time, but it could be right at another time. And Ashley's a great example of somebody who went for one thing and then all of a sudden it was another. So, like, the ability to navigate is really important.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about sales and storytelling. Somebody who can, and see, these are things that I can't teach you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is a really great conversation because when we are casting in this space where there's so many other things that I use to gauge if I think you're right to move to the next step, which is not sort of a checklist of like, smile and speak
Right.
slower. Like it goes deeper than that, which is really hard to explain to people. And why this is such a unique casting. It is different than any other casting out there, and it's different than any other coast casting out there. Like the home shopping space is so unique because it's sales meets entertainment. There has to be results at the end of the day. You are a host, but you are also selling. So what I was getting at is the idea of like being able to like share your life is, see, these are things that like you wouldn't think,
Yeah, being relatable.
like
Yeah.
you wouldn't think, like they wouldn't be on like a chat GPT list of like, what is a casting director looking for? Oh, they're
Yeah.
looking for somebody that like it goes deeper. Like again, it's like the ability, somebody who's like willingness, like has a zest for life,
Mhm.
is willing to share things on TV. Like these things are what we're looking for, and why it gets so complicated and why it takes so long, right? We put a lot of time and effort into this, and why I love doing it. It gets a little psychological at points.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's people that you can connect with and that you can see yourself maybe being friends with. And I think that that's what you do so well is that you find people that we can see ourselves maybe sitting down and feeling comfortable having a conversation with these people. They're in our living rooms every day.
Yeah.
So that's something that's a real gift to find talent like that. And shifting over to the talent side, it's hard to really peg exactly what you're looking for. And I totally get what you're saying. It is the charisma, it is the storytelling, it's all of those skills, but it is also those intangibles where it is something that you're able to let people into your own life too. You don't have to share everything, but being able
Yeah.
to really relate those products and stories to your own life because that is something that the audience can really relate to. Now, is there a difference, in your opinion, from someone who makes a great TV host versus someone who thrives in now the streaming and live social shopping space that you've seen?
Okay. So, I mean, the conversation now is, digital versus linear.
Hmm.
Everybody talks about the idea of like linear is sort of fading. But I think that there are some spaces where linear is still, the thing.
Hmm.
And I think home shopping is one of them. I think people are comfortable like leaning into their TV, and because that's how this whole thing was created.
Hmm.
The idea of like, also understanding the digital world is happening is also something that's they're doing really well over there. But I think the difference, I mean, I don't even want to talk about like demographics because I
Right.
think, in people would think, oh well, digital is younger, but I don't. That's
Not
not
so much.
no,
No.
no. It's what I'm saying. Like, and I believe it or not, I have just learned this.
Hmm.
Because all of a sudden, when I was casting, when I was linear heavy, and all of a sudden, then I was, all the clients, even outside of QVC and HSN, all of the other networks and clients and production companies were like, looking for this sort of digital programming and branded content, etc. It was like go younger. But now, within the past year, it was like no, 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 no. Everybody's
Hmm.
on streaming. Everybody's on TikTok. Everybody's on Instagram. So we now want all types of people in the digital space. As far as like skill sets, you know what? Yes. Linear, I would say you probably have to be more comfortable talking for longer periods of time. You have to, uh, let's say, like lean in, right? You have to be like really comfortable with like creating like moments long term. Because I think people who are leaning into or switching into or like watching the linear version of these networks are people who've been dedicated for a long time. They're
Hmm.
comfortable in this space doing it, and the hosts there are spending more time with the customer, spending more time with the guest,
Hmm.
creating relationships. You're not speeding through a cell, if that makes sense.
Oh,
You're
100%.
not
Yeah.
going very, like leaning into the quiet moments, leaning into the chit chat between the guest and the host. Like
Hmm.
there is time here.
Yeah.
Whereas I think in digital, now that we all realize it's all ages, all demographics, it's not just young folks on TikTok, I would say regardless of all of that, the digital space, the pluses, the
Mhm.
the streaming services probably spend less time content wise. So, maybe you can get away with somebody who's not so comfortable in like speaking for long periods of time and building those relationships. It goes a little bit quicker.
Right. Yeah. TikTok shop makes my head spin. I mean, like I'm the QVC HSN type. Like I love to sit and watch them like talk about the product and share their stories about how they love it, how many ways they can use this product. I mean, I already bought an what is it? The Dyson hair wrap from
Okay.
from QVC the other day because I mean, they spent the time to show me the features and the
Well,
benefits and all the things.
yes,
Sold.
you see that. You see that. They spent the time. Now, listen, they're both
Yeah.
very valuable.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you notice, talent goes from one platform to the other. They
Mhm.
flip back and forth. So, but I
Yes.
think it's the style,
Mhm.
understanding your audience, understanding your platform is extremely important. And the audience could be slightly different. I don't work in house, so I don't know all of the numbers and the detail, the research and the feedback. Like I'm like I don't know, you know what I mean. But
Mhm.
I could assume that the audience is part of it is different, and
Mhm.
then I'm assuming some of it, flows into the other. And when I'm casting, we really, yes, we do note, oh, they would be great on streaming.
Mhm.
But I don't think not yet have am I going out looking, I mean, yes, if I'm casting just for streaming, that's a whole casting, right? But like,
Mhm.
I don't, intentionally like, put people into buckets.
Right.
We put everybody into one bucket, and as we're seeing people, it's like, oh, they feel more linear, they feel more digital. So I think you and I
Yes.
both can agree on, and again, we can't really, it's hard to explain, but somebody does
Yeah.
feel more linear and somebody does feel more digital.
Yeah. Well, I get a lot of creators that send in and they can't talk for long periods of time and they'll use the same adjectives over and over and over again and I'm like I need something a little bit more expansive. So I think that that's one big differentiator that I see is like they don't have maybe the capacity to go as long as linear TV hosts for sure, but I do see that the more seasoned hosts that have been doing it a long time, they can switch over to live stream fairly easily because they're engaging. Maybe they're engaging in the comments and they're kind of, talking to the viewers in that sense. But from the other side, like creators to linear, that's a tough jump.
But
That's a far leap.
but also sometimes the challenge from linear to digital is that linear talent is not comfortable with like chatting on the side while
Mm,
they're actually hosting because it's two different roles for them. Whereas
yep.
digital creators, that's like where it's more native to them, like that's one thing.
Yep. And they're less polished. So it's like it's such a different
Yeah, and I love them both, right?
yeah,
But
yeah. And there's a space for everybody, for sure.
I think
Yeah.
we are in a very interesting space when it comes into casting across the board, whether it's home shopping or casting hosts, lifestyle game show, whatever it might be. Not in the shopping space because those gigs or those jobs that come into my world are also the same. Like, oh, we want
Yeah,
somebody.
let's talk about those for a minute because
Yeah.
we talk about QVC and HSN all the time. Let's talk about some other projects that you're doing or have been doing that you're seeing happen in this space right now because the landscape is changing so fast. And I get questions all the time like, okay, well, what other opportunities are out there besides live stream selling and home shopping? Is there anything else? What have you seen? Randomly,
Well, no, but
randomly.
here's the deal is I see so much live streaming.
Yeah.
Even when I'm not casting projects, I just see other
Mhm.
people casting them. And
Yeah.
every time I audition somebody, tell me a little bit about yourself. What have you been doing lately? Oh, I have an Amazon storefront. or I'm on
Yeah.
TikTok, and then there's a million and one. Like I've even learned recently, like there's all these like little mini studios all over Manhattan. I mean,
Oh, yeah, and LA, like, there's
there's
a
these mini
ton of
studios.
them.
So like
They're like warehouses with these little cubicles that people just live stream out of. It's
yes.
amazing.
See,
Yeah.
I am still learning, to be honest with you. I'm still trying to navigate the space but you're asking for what are the opportunities outside of that. I will tell you that I'm sharing with people. I think the opportunities right now are in that.
Mhm.
And I'm
Yeah.
not talking about QVC, HSN, jewelry channel liquidation, all of that stuff, Shop LC. I'm not talking about the ones who are like the ones that we know. I'm talking about like the numerous. I don't even know where to
Mhm.
find them, unfortunately. I wish
Well, a
I
lot
could.
of them are brands. Like, a lot of them are brands that are hiring creators to just stream for them all day or, like, hours a day on TikTok Shop.
Oh,
It's
on
wild.
TikTok Shop, not on their brand's websites.
Yeah, I think more so TikTok Shop, and I could be mistaken, but I think from what I've seen is a lot of brands are hiring creators to go into these makeshift studios and live stream for like hours just for that one brand. Like sports teams are doing it,
Okay.
collectibles are doing it. I mean, all these different niches. And it's brilliant because the brand is like, well, I can just hire probably a creator for, let's say, 35 bucks an hour, rent out a little studio space, have them go live for 6 hours and make a killing. I
So
mean, it's all business.
here's the interesting thing.
Mhm.
I will post my breakdowns various different ways. So,
Mhm.
for me, for the networks that I work for, like a casting for me generates minimum 15,000 submissions,
Mhm.
up to 19, maybe almost 20. So they are coming from all these different spaces, real people, uh, TV hosts, news reporters, anchors, etc., MMJs. But a lot of it a lot of them are actors. And
Mm.
we have went through phases where we're like, no actors, and then we're like, well, why not? An actor is a great performer because
Mhm.
at the end of the day, yes, you are selling, but if you're not entertaining while you're doing it, it's a bit of a flop. So,
Right.
and I've been casting in this space since 2008.
Mhm.
So you said a decade? It's been more than a decade.
More than a decade,
It's
decades.
been 17-ish years, right?
Amazing.
So, like, I
Yeah.
know it well, and, I have went through so many iterations of what I'm looking for or what we are looking for, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
I mean, the world
Yeah.
is always changing. The audience is changing. What people are interested in is changing. How they want to receive their content is changing. How they want people to share content with them is changing. So we're looking for all different types. But what I was getting at was the idea of I can't even tell you the number of actors
Yeah.
who will submit to me saying, I still love acting. Opportunities are dwindling lately. I have been, and this is what I'm saying, like everybody, this is when I start to realize like everybody's in some studio somewhere streaming a shopping situation or has the Amazon storefront, whatever it might be. So what I'm getting at is like the amount of actors who have realized that these opportunities exist is mind-boggling. And
Mhm.
then what happens for me is, and this just happened to me yesterday on a coaching session. Uh, this is when we go back to how we started in this podcast, whereas I have to sort of become like a, a, a therapist in a sense, or like a recruiter or a
Right.
headhunter. Like, I have to put on my HR hat. I've never worked with HR in my life. I've been self-employed since I've been like 22. So like,
Yeah.
I have to put on these sort of like I have to go deeper than like, okay, well, now I know you're doing the TikTok shop and the Amazon storefronts and you're working for Macy's in a studio somewhere, but like, do you still want to be an actor? Which one is more important? And I don't need the answer right away, but as together, and that's why the casting process happens. And that's why you have these multiple callbacks because I have to then start to figure out like, is this something you really want to do?
Yeah.
Because,
And I don't think people realize how in-depth the casting process
oh my
is.
gosh.
I mean, I think people may have this idea that, you get a submission, you either like them or you don't, you pass. But no, there's so many different layers and levels. Like you said, there are people that you want to take that extra time. You want to speak to them, have more of a conversation. Is this the lifestyle that you're looking for? Do you want to be doing this or that? Or where do you feel you excel the most? I mean,
Are you
these are
going to be
conversations.
happy?
Are you going to be happy? Right.
Are you going to
Yeah.
be happy selling when you thought that this was a job just to be on TV?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Or
it's
just
both.
a gig. Yeah. A
Yeah,
short
yeah.
term
I
gig.
mean, it really does get deep, and that's why, I love doing it. And keep in mind that I've been doing it for a really long time. So like I actually know a lot of people who are right and want this opportunity, and it might not work this particular round. But
Totally.
I
Yeah.
mean, without shouting out names, there's numerous hosts on both QVC and HSN. I work for both of them who I have auditioned for numerous times, some for one network, but not the other. But now they're on the other that they actually auditioned for the previous one. Like it's a
Yeah.
lot. It's a lot.
And a lifestyle change too. Like, will you relocate? Will
Will
you
you
not
relocate?
relocate? Will you travel? Will you not travel?
Are
Do you
you
have
okay with the
kids? Do you
money?
want to? Right. Are you okay with the money? So I think, yeah, the transparency needs to be there too. And I agree. I think in the hosting world, and now it's the gray area of creator hosting, all the things. It's really figuring out kind of what is the lifestyle that you want, and does this fit within that? So it's not just are you right, but it's like, is this the right
Oh,
job for you right now?
and
This
by the
might not be the right
way,
time.
don't forget about all the other moving parts.
Yeah.
Families,
Hmm.
significant others. There's a lot of people that have to be a part of this decision.
Contract
Sometimes.
negotiations, schedules, shoot dates. I mean, like it's crazy. How many times have it's like you may have brought them over just to about the finish line. It's like, oh yeah, I don't want the overnight schedule, so I'm not gonna take
Well,
it.
but guess what? Tell me that I'm cool with it. Great, thank you. So, like,
Hmm.
that's why when you talked
Yeah.
about the expansive casting process is why we go for a while and why we spend time and why we keep having conversations, because it's like everybody needs to be transparent. The client needs to be transparent and the talent needs to be transparent and I need to be transparent to both of them. I need to tell my
Right.
client, I don't think, and I will do that.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not 100% sure Nicole truly understands what this role is and what it entails, although we've shared a few times. I think
Hmm.
now it's let's bring her into a situation where she speaks with somebody there, this person, that person, and that person. And then I will get notes back saying, you know what? Great call. We have decided that maybe this is not the right person to move forward with it. And then also sometimes it's like, you know what? Your instincts, thank you for your instincts and your
Right.
gut, but we're still ready to move forward.
Yeah.
And I just
Yeah.
it's basically doing due diligence.
Yeah. And being that just really being good at communicating and being transparent and getting everyone's kind of feedback on the role and what it entails, because there's so many details that are involved. And I agree, it's like, if it's not right for you, let me know. Like, I would never hold it against somebody if they were like, they just
No.
about got to the finish line, they were like, you know what, my husband's got cold feet, he doesn't want to move. That's cool, thank you for
Yeah.
being honest, because I'd rather know now than when you sign the contract and now you can't get out of it. And now you've just moved your whole family. All right. If you are loving this conversation and want to learn more about how to build a profitable brand and business as an on camera personality, go to tvhostingacademy.com. I have all my coaching programs there, even our green room membership. And inside that membership, we meet twice a month, once for small group coaching and a second time with an industry expert who will be teaching a masterclass on a variety of different topics in the media industry. So go to tvhostingacademy.com, click on the Green Room membership, and we'll see you there. Back to the conversation. But as we start to wrap up a little bit, I do want to just touch on marketing materials, which I love to talk about because it's a lot of the branding materials, because it's the first thing that you see when you get submissions come in. So are there any specific marketing materials that you maybe in years past really, really required? Now it's like not so much. What are just a few of the main assets that you really need to consider them?
You can like so for me, it all boils down to the audition tape
Hmm.
because you can send me like well, okay. It really starts with a nice letter of interest. Just
Mm,
even a paragraph of, hi, here's why I think I would be a great host for A, B, C, D, or E, right? And from there, then I would invite you to make an audition tape. But I'm not going to invite you to make an audition tape if you don't tell me why I should invite you to make an audition tape, or you don't convince me. I don't even want to say convince. If you don't just share with me like that you're interested, you're truly interested, because I told you that
mhm.
there's 19,000 submissions.
Right.
I mean, I,
Talk about the note for a second. You were the original. I think you were the first one to tell me about leaving a note,
I am
not
the
on Actors
OG. I
Access.
am the
You
oh,
are the OG about
I
the
am
note,
the
and I
OG
always
note
say that. I'm like,
advocate.
Sean. I learned this from Sean years ago, bringing up the note section of Actors Access and Backstage. Talk about the note and why it's so important.
And beyond that, if you have my Gmail address that you're submitting
Yeah.
to, right? But just before we go there, I don't want to dismiss the question that you asked about
Yes, the
like
assets.
assets. Like I do not get super hung up on it because I'm a unicorn, to be honest with you. I probably should get hung up on it. I probably should not spend as much time going through submissions as I do. Like to me, like anybody and everybody could be right. So like I can't get hung up on the fact that, Sean just doesn't have a professional headshot and a beefed up Instagram just yet. So like
Mhm.
I'm cool with something else, right? Listen, do I want a shot of you, a photo of you? Like is a photo of you like a selfie-ish photo gonna be right? Probably not. Like you don't have to have a full-on headshot, but anybody can take. I mean, I'm literally when I sign off of this, I'm actually taking a workshop about AI headshots. I don't know
Mhm.
if I'm into it or not into it. Of course, I love all.
Oh, we'll talk offline about that. I love them. I'm sorry, but I
Well,
have a
I mean, I don't
whole
want to
yeah, I
well,
love them.
I love my photographers out there,
Yeah,
right?
but you can do both.
But
I
I'm
We'll
saying,
talk about this. I do both. I love it.
so you can create something or find something, or there's a definitely in all of the photos in
Yeah.
your phone, there's
Mhm.
probably one that's a little bit more professional than the selfie, right? So that's
Mhm.
one thing. I will say Instagram is probably the easiest for me to navigate. I'm not a big
Mhm.
TikToker, although I should. So like if you send me all the links, I'm gonna click on the Instagram because
Mhm.
it's to me I want to scroll through. I want to see what you look like in various situations. I want to see like if your look changes, if you have variety. I want to see what your style is. I want to see like, what things that you love. I can find that on Instagram that I actually cannot find that on TikTok because I think everything you click on has audio, right? It's like a video.
Mhm.
And I don't
Yeah,
have
I agree. I
time.
like Instagram and
I don't have
LinkedIn.
time to go through every video, right? So
Mhm.
so backing up assets like maybe, some socials, a professional-ish headshot. I don't need you to spend a lot of money. Photo, I don't spend a lot of money on a headshot. But to me, it all boils down to the letter of interest. Hey, Sean, saw your casting for Shopping Channel X. Just so you know, I love shopping. I, you know, my friends ask me for advice all the time. I might not be great in the kitchen, but boy, am I fashionable. Something.
Yeah.
It could
Yeah.
be as simple as like my favorite color is blue because all of a sudden now I'm aware that you're aware of what this job is because having a favorite color at QVC and HSN is an important part of the job, right?
Yeah.
So I really put a lot of weight on like just like the simple stuff, like the
The
letter,
introduction.
the
That's
introduction. When we
amazing.
talked
Yeah.
about the notes, you brought it up, the notes on Backstage, Actors Access, casting networks. You were allowed to leave a note, and
Mhm.
the amount of people who don't boggles my mind.
Because they don't understand on the back end that you can see that pop up at the top. So I think a lot of people think, oh, like I'm not going to leave one because I have nothing interesting to say. But oh my gosh, even if you just put a little two sentences, yeah,
Anything
anything.
related to the job. If it is a
Yeah.
role looking for a host for
Hmm.
a cooking show or what's your favorite restaurant in LA or New York or Atlanta or Chicago, Philly, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But so I do put an emphasis on like the old school stuff, but I also want to stress like there's breakdowns, there's backstage, there's casting networks, but a lot of my submissions come directly to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have an email address for a lot of it. So that's where you really, really, really have the time to share with us why you are interested in the opportunity. I don't even want to get hung up on the 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 why you think you deserve the job so much or
Mm-hmm.
why you should have the job so much is like why are you interested? That's what I want to start with. Because I also want to say like there's phases here. So like let's not get hung up on you you know giving me this sort of like background of like the 20-year career. Let's talk about like the let's get in the door with like the fun stuff first,
Mm.
the favorite color, the favorite restaurant, uh, the Pinterest board. Just so you know, I wanted to share with you my here's my Amazon, marketplace. What do they call it? Amazon storefronts, and I'll go on the
Mm-hmm.
Amazon storefront, and I'm like, oh, like I get a sense from someone's Amazon storefront of like
That's
what.
so interesting. I love that you shared that because I don't think a lot of our listeners would even think to do that. I think a lot of them are like, oh, this submission has to be really professional. I have to give them the laundry list of my resume and what I've done, which, yeah, I mean, little bits of it is important. But what you're saying is make it much more about you and your personality and things that you really love and enjoy,
Because
making it unique. Yeah.
understanding what they do over there. Okay, so this is why. Okay, so in my tape request, I asked people to shoot their audition at home, in their living room, in their kitchen. Uh, Ashley shot it in her closet. Like I
Yeah.
asked people to shoot auditions in a lifestyle space because this is a lifestyle network. And do I get mad at like an audition in front of a green backdrop or a blue backdrop? No. But does it change the game if you're sitting in a comfortable space and it's a lifestyle space because this is a network that exudes lifestyle? It probably does make a slight difference. And I will give you a quick example. As I coached somebody yesterday, I thought he was awesome. I actually thought I liked his tape and I sent it to the network. They did not choose to move forward with that person just yet, for now. And I coached him yesterday, and I was like, I don't understand why. I don't understand why the network didn't even invite him to a callback because like this guy seems like he's like what I'm looking for in my next phase of auditions because I kind of know what that's going to be. He's like, I'm looking for this, and then with him on the call, I was like, let me watch your audition tape now that we've been got to know each other a little bit. I was like, oh, well, besides all of the other things that he was not doing correctly, which is what we worked through in the coaching session, was like he was pretending to be a host. He was not connecting, all of those things. But the initial was like, why are you, and okay, so here's another little tidbit. He is a culinary professional. Like, why are you standing in front of a gray wall and not in your kitchen?
Yeah. Get in your kitchen. Right. Yeah.
And he was selling a kitchen. Like, why are you like to me, like that's like what we're getting at here. It's like the little things. I wouldn't say I'm not gonna submit your tape because you're in front of like those generic blue and
Mhm.
green
But
like
they give you a leg up if
holding things
you're,
that you put up
yeah,
behind
if you're
you.
using the environment. That
Use
makes
the
sense.
environment to your advantage. So like that's the thing.
Mhm.
Take really leaning into like the fun stuff in the beginning. Let's get to the nuts and bolts of like your various career accomplishments maybe like later. And I know that sounds
Yeah.
crazy.
No, not at all. I think you're giving a lot of our listeners tips on how to stand out, which a lot of them don't realize. I think they have that thought about just sending in a resume and a headshot and a demo reel like they did in years past. And that's just not how it is anymore. So I think all the details that you're giving are so, so helpful for our listeners. And yeah, and even like social media reels or clips, right? I mean, if they're doing some type of a product demonstration and they have an Instagram reel, that's something that they could send you, right? Is that something that would
Oh,
work for you?
Instagram is the new real, by the way.
Yeah. Hmm.
Which
Yeah.
again is like I used to shoot reels for people. I used to produce them and direct them. I don't do it anymore. Like because
But they're
nobody
so niche specific now. Like it's
yeah.
not so general anymore.
It's like
Yeah.
what I'm saying is like it was a thing for me. I was like loving it. I was like out there shooting all over New York, and then all of a sudden it was like everyone's just sending me Instagram reels. I'm like, oh hi. Like I can yeah, I like
I get the idea from this. Yeah.
I get it. And like TikTok as well. Like you're seeing, reels are to show off your personality, right? And now all
Mhm.
of a sudden, if you can show off your personality on your Instagram page, then it
It
might,
works.
it works, but I love a reel. I love a reel.
Yeah.
A reel is great when you have a bunch of material that you're compiling together. Because remember, there's two types of reels. There's the reels that you can just grab all your materials, work with a fantastic editor that we both know and love, and
Hmm.
then that's a reel. Or you can go out and shoot a bunch of stuff. I think what I'm getting at is the going out and shooting for 2 days, which I used to do with people, has sort of been like,
It's dwindled. Yeah.
it's dwindled. But
Yeah.
that's
Because
that's our conversation is like the world is constantly changing for the talent and for me. Let's not forget, let's
for
not
all of
forget
us,
about
which
a
is why
human
these
creator.
conversations are so, so important. And I love having you on. I mean, it's been a year. I mean, I feel like every year we need to catch up and
Yeah,
catch each
yeah.
other up on what the heck's going on in the world. But thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us and all of our listeners. I feel like, this is a space where everyone can come, they can learn, they can put things into practice. And if they want more coaching or guidance from you, where can they find you?
Website, email. So if you go on my website, you'll see all of my materials of what I do. My email address is Sean at SeanDeSimoneCasting.com. That's SEAN at SEANDESIMONECASTING.com. I have
We'll
an
pop it
Instagram
up there.
page.
Don't worry.
I have an Instagram at Sean_DeSimone_casting. I have a Facebook group, SeanDeSimoneCasting.com. I have a LinkedIn group,
Yes.
SeanDeSimoneCasting.com. I'm trying to keep everything consistent.
Yes, join them all. And I love, you are sending out castings through your newsletters. Barbara, same thing. I mean, I always recommend that you connect with the casting
Connect.
directors,
Connect with casting
understand,
directors, but also please be
connect.
aware that we have two worlds. We have our personal socials
Yeah,
and then we have our casting socials. And I love to be friends with everybody on personal, but I can't. And then that
right.
also limits my ability to have my real, my other friends on there. So the casting socials is really great. But the one thing that I love, and if I can share, is if
Yes.
you email me, that's probably the best way. Because then what I do is I get on the phone. I want to talk to you. I want to get to know you. I
Hmm.
want to hang out a little bit. And then together, we can decide how we're going to work together. What are your goals? What do you want to work on? What are your concerns? Whatever it might be. I feel like if you just email me and I like lock you into a session and send you
Right.
a Zoom link, it's like not going to be good.
Yeah.
So like
There's not
email
a one
me.
size fits all
Yeah, it's
strategy
not a one
session
size
for
fits all.
sure.
So just email me and we
Yeah.
can chat and figure it out together.
Amazing. Thank you so much. You're such a legend. I love
Oh my
talking to
God,
you.
stop.
Miss you so much. And thank you to all of our listeners and our viewers. We will see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Nicole.